Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Puh. Um, today was a fun session on the site. Tuesdays, I've got a cohort here. Let's just make sure this YouTube page is working. Good. Um, Cohort here, of course, every once in a while, you guys on the free feed hear from him. He manages just making sure this video gets produced relatively consistently, which is good. But on Tuesdays, we have Kevin come on and chat with the community and just sort of showing the community what he's seeing in the market. And I always like that. Get various different perspectives from all the different site participants, OGs. So we had Kevin here today. I thought he did an awesome job. In fact, actually, he went on so long that unfortunately we were about 20 minutes past the hour, and I had to be like, okay, let's wind this up. And everybody in the Daily Brief was like, come on, shut up, Brian. Let him talk. Let him talk. So great content, as always, for the site. And I think people appreciate checking in with Kevin and seeing what's on his mind. Did talk a lot of stock, penny stocks, of course. We were pretty fortunate to get off some more doubles. In fact, geez, I booked about 3 or 4 over the past day or two. So it's been super, super busy for me on the profit side. And it was great to hear a lot of people on the site. We're in this marathon patent group, and it popped up here. And of course, when that happens, we afford ourselves the opportunity to pay ourselves, and so we all got paid today. Yay! So we talked some stock. Interestingly enough, we didn't talk too much crypto through the daily brief, other than we did take a look at a lot of the altcoins, which actually, I gotta say, it's such a great lesson. Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. But we're seeing a lot of these altcoins just got ridiculously, like this AMB here is a really good example, where a lot of these altcoins just got bid up to just, pretty lofty levels. Of course, you got to pay yourself when these damn things go. But what do you think the public did with their precious Bitcoin, AMD versus BTC? And then the trap was sprung and they just slammed these things back down hard. What I would suggest you do, and this was a big part of Kevin's presentation today, which I thought was just so pro of him, is don't lose focus. But like this one, for example, where are these reload zones? Where are we likely to see people come back in on the buy side? What a coincidence, we dipped right into this reload zone, right against this original market structure bottom, and gee whiz, these things are starting to counter trend rally. What a surprise. So, fantastic analogy. There's probably a lot of people in the public that, of course, got sucked into buying up top and just got absolutely destroyed there the past day or so. And really, a lot of these names, all they did was they just got to lofty levels. They pulled the carpet out from underneath the public and screwed them all and just brought these prices back down into where, ironically enough, where we as professionals would actually think about wanting to be long. So what a surprise. Anyway, I think probably the most important takeaway out of this current market state is the idea that the US dollar right now is being repriced. We're now into a very important window here. Probably most of the public has no clue about this, but in essence, once a month, once every 6 weeks or so, we have the U.S. central bankers all get together and they decide the course of interest rates. Now, with regard to that short-term interest rates, interestingly enough, in this crazy world that we live in now, my feeling here is interest rates are actually no longer the tool of choice. It's all a question of actual quantitative easing, quote unquote, which I thought was hilarious, kind of a side commentary. Some of these artificial intelligence platforms and software packages are coming up, and I thought this was absolutely perfect. You go through into these artificial intelligence AI application, these sites, and you type in all your bullshit and you just say, okay, can you simplify this? And quantitative easing is when the government prints money out of thin air and uses it to buy bad government bonds. That's the word that they're missing here. But anyway, I mean, in essence, that's the world that we're living in right now. I don't actually think economics themselves even make any sense. And actually, there was a really great article, but I don't think I put it out. Oh, no, I didn't. A gentleman, I hate doing this in the middle of these feeds because it's tough to find them. But there was a gentleman who, I think he's fair. This gentleman right here. Good. Oh, actually, we're lucky. This gentleman right here, pretty smart dude. I wouldn't fuck around with him. He just took $100 million out of the market. I think his line here is absolutely perfect. You want to know what this world is right now? You want to describe this world? I think this is perfect. Where he said, he claimed we're in a golden age of fraud. I mean, really, what's going on with central bankers since the days of Ronald Reagan? The United States government doesn't have to run a balanced budget. It can run deficits all it wants. That's a fraud. That's a lie. I mean, you can't go to the bank with no collateral. Say, oh, can you lend me money? No, I don't have any income, but what the hell? Just lend me money? Yeah, no, I'm already over budget. I can't afford to make these payments, but can you lend me money? In essence, that's what Ronald Reagan did, and we've been living 40 years in this lie. Eventually, and this is why you guys like Bitcoin, eventually the public's going to go, we've had enough of this lie. So, should it surprise us right at the very apex of this fear cycle that all this lying is really going to come into focus? Yeah, actually it makes perfect sense to me. So we're living in a golden age of fraud. Current market climate is rife with euphoria. Think Mr. Barstool, is he really that smart of an investor or just, riding the momentum? FOMC and Trumpian post-truths, and this scares me because what's ended up happening with this gentleman is he's basically convinced the public that everything is a lie. So now we live in this post-truth world politics where we don't know what the hell to believe. A really fertile field for people to play fast and loose with the truth, and for corporate wrongdoers to get away with it for a long time. I hate to say it, folks. I think this is exactly the world that we're in right now. Is this a good environment to be really making solid investments that you can sleep at night? I don't think so. But, you've heard me say this repeatedly. This is an ugly period that we're going through. So just be aware of this. And, this guy here, he's basically saying, this can't end well. It's got to end badly. But we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. You guys all know my general thoughts about what's going to happen here through 2020, 2021. So, you shouldn't be shocked that Brian's like, oh my God, this is crazy. Having said that, the whole point of what we do here is we want to make money from trading, try and take advantage of opportunities, and when the market affords you the opportunity to pay, goddamn pay yourself. Just do it. And then, of course, sort of a nice dovetail to all that, gold acting the way that it is right now, that's absolutely a perfect testimony to a world that's fugazi. Nobody believes anything, so when you don't believe anything, run into gold. I can hold it in my hands. It's physical. For the remainder of 2020 and all that kind of idea, just understand that just as violently as we went down in March, and as violently as we've gone up here through that period, we can go just as violently right back down. And, sadly, fugazi, if the central bankers decide to just keep printing money, we could just keep going violently up here. But at some point, all of this shit's got to settle down, cars start carving out nice, friendly weekly W's. And ironically enough, you know where the weekly W's are coming in? They're coming in on Charlie today. But, you know, we talked about Ethereum. Now, this is the kind of chart I want to see, that everything is calmed down and we're starting to base. And like I said just a moment ago, Charlie! I love saying Charlie. I don't know why, but gee whiz, you know, this is a weekly price chart. This is the kind of place where I can put money to work and feel relatively confident. Tell you, look at the stock market. You know, it doesn't look like that at all. It looks actually the exact opposite. I don't know what Charlie's up to, but this is kind of a funny story. We've been sort of following along, and now our crazy little Feigenbaum chaos levels are actually suggesting that this thing actually wants to basically double from current prices. So, way to go, Charlie. He's hanging in there. He's up to something. Won't talk to the public, but something's going on. And, of course, we all know the Ethereum story. You know, the point that I think I've sort of made to you guys here recently is we're actually at the point with these kind of ideas, I can actually go to like little old ladies and say, you know what, we've got a pretty good looking base here. I think you could go put some money to work, and you're not walking into a trap. I'd be a little bit concerned about chasing things like out of here. This is maybe a little too far too fast. But point that I would just say here is, ironically enough, crypto actually looks a hell of a lot better than a lot of the stock market. All right, so let's go back and do what we're supposed to be doing here today and review our little chart deck. Like I said, FOMC event, probably best for us sort of public people. We're not the 1%. We don't pick bottoms and tops. Let's maybe just let this thing settle down, carve out some sort of reversal sign, and then maybe we can start thinking about up. For the time being, believe it or not, this still could fall another penny from where we are right now. So be prepared. And of course, we have FOMC right now. Are there games around FOMC and ECB and JCB events? Absolutely. So that's sort of your background. And we also kind of thought that there'd be some sort of major pivot here into the end of the month. Larry Williams, Kramer, all that kind of talk. So I'm looking for some sort of pivot in this thing. That's sort of your risk on. So if that's the case, obviously we have a little bit of an up here. We probably expect risk on in the marketplace to be a little bit heavy. And you can see Dow, or you know, there's the S&P 500. We did push to new highs here, but we're starting to get a little heavy. Keep in mind we're still well below the all-time highs. Is this enough for me to justify an outright trade? Probably not yet. But hopefully everybody can see we're starting to carve out what looks like a pretty M. So if we do something like that, then I'm going to be like, uh-oh, get ready. And remember, end of July, Mr. Williams, Mr. Kramer, all that kind of talk. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of top that comes in here. On the oil, this has been kind of a fun experiment with you guys. I just wanted to keep taking these oil setups until one of them actually works and we get a 50% retracement. So guess what, folks? We got another one. So we'll see how this goes. This is attempt number 3. There it is. And here we took a shot off of that level there, actually that double top, and it failed. Then we waited for a reload zone and we took a shot off of that gap level and it failed. And ironically enough, all of this, what a great testament about gaps, eh? Anyway, market rallied up. Looks like it's filling in the gap. And we actually put an inside bar, then went up, then broke down. And if you look at this on an intraday basis, this creates a M. Hello, M. So for the purposes of this conversation, because I didn't want to be like, oh, look at it. Yeah, hindsight's 2020. I'm going to strap on my short trade here. Look at me. I'm an awesome genius. Let's just make it nice and conservative, and we're just going to hit that M. So you can even see, you could probably put the trade on right now if you wanted to. Probably the trader's trade was to short this counter trend rally into that reload zone, but let's track this. Let's see how it does. So here we are again. Now we're coming into the end of the month, so I like this trade a hell of a lot better. And now our 50% retracement target is this 32. So about 6.89 risk reward. as I told you guys before, what will be really cool, I don't know how many attempts this takes. Might take like 5 attempts. Who knows? But we'll just keep shorting and just keep working until we get our move back to the 50% rule. And then at the end of this, we'll add it all up and we'll see whether this was a profitable venture or not. The great part about me is half of what I like to do, and is I'm not here to tell you what to buy or sell. I'm here more as just a demonstrator of stuff. On the school, I say, in the school program, I say, what my job here is to set the table. You use the salad fork when you're eating salad. You use the shrimp fork for these funny little shrimp that come in this cool little cup with this fun little red dipping sauce, right? All that kind of thing. And then ultimately it's you at the end of all this go, wow, I really love using these price gaps or trade location. They're just sick. I'm going to start incorporating that into my thinking. So let's see what happens. Full disclosure, I'm not in this trade. It's just a great little demonstration for you. So we're back on the short side in crude. Oh boy. So with that said, if anything, I still like the idea of US dollar moving lower. And the gold, we've come up into a level where I think we got to hit this 2,000. I think it's a big fat round number. What I thought was really cool, and we're having a lot of fun on the site with this lately, is this chaos theory and Feigenbaum levels. And when we start doing Feigenbaums off of price action here, we start getting some really interesting levels. So if we go back up here, boobity boo, and actually people are like, do silver, do gold, do bananas, frozen concentrated orange juice. Anyway, so here's just some levels we'll just throw on here. I don't really want to take too much time in this. But we got one there, we got one up there. Yeah, this is the one that I think needs to be hit, and that's off of this range here, because that's the double bottom, I think, that battle zone right in there. And that's like 2087. I'd be really surprised if gold didn't come up and hit this big fat round number. And usually what ends up happening is we actually shoot a little bit beyond and then calm down. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. And if crude does break and starts to come off, that actually helps gold, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, do I have a trade here? No. If anything, I think I showed you on a lot of my gold stocks. I mean, God, look at this. You want to see Feigenbaum. This is so cool. Actually, I can't do it here. What a tease. I was showing the kids this today. It's so cool. Feigenbaum, bang, in your face. Came right up to that level and then just stopped. So, I'm seeing a lot of this kind of stuff. Might be interesting actually to see what Newmont, whether it's got a Feigenbaum going here. Noticed its bottom is here. We already let some go, so I don't have any risk on this trade anymore. But probably boobity boo up to boo. Actually that makes sense. So you can see Feigenbaum's calling for 84. This is a weekly price chart, right? Maybe if we go daily, probably see a little bit better. So that's this bottom here. And probably like this little bottom here probably painted that objective. Actually this one here probably paints a nice big objective up top. So I don't think we're done here. Oh, look at that. So actually, isn't that interesting? So the market set this level up, painted that target. Then it set this level up, painted almost exactly the same target. What do you think the odds are we're heading up into this area? I'd say probably pretty good. So, I guess a little juniors. Maybe we can take away that, they've run really far, really fast. Maybe they got to cool down a little bit here. I do see, we're gapping lower here. This stock's actually down on the day. What's going on, crude? Or gold? I thought you were a bull. What's going on? So my hunch is, especially with all these holes, maybe we have a week or two of sort of gap backfilling here. What's fascinating, of course, is the fact that we did break out through this high. You want to see something really shocking? what happens if we do Falgun, Buggen, Zoggen, Joggin off of that level? Uh-oh. Ooh, holy Jesus, where's the level? There it is, $130 a share. Jesus H. Christ. And never know in this crazy world. Actually, this is a really good commentary on don't get into the habit of making predictions. I mean, trade your setups and put yourself in a position that if, this damn thing goes up to 130, I still got a call on the books, whatever. Free stock. But this overstock, OSTK, what a crazy stock. And, man, I am going totally off on a tangent here today. But you want to see something shocking? I mean, technically, all we've done is just rally back into reload zones off of this massive range. I don't know whether we get any Falgun bombs here or not, but I suppose this there to there. I painted that objective into there. I guess that makes sense. And there to there. And when bulls get going, geez, man, can they get out of control? So, actually, this doesn't have the prettiest of W bottoms. I was kind of hoping we could show you a really juicy one. But, I mean, look at all these 8.7. There's a whole cluster of these 877s up here. Maybe that's what it wants. We were actually interested in this stock back here. Isn't that incredible? Holy bejesus. Crazy world. Anyway. Why don't we get back to what I'm supposed to be doing here today? So your gold's probably working up into these levels. Big fat round number. I don't see why that can't be hit. Junior stocks, kind of along with the whole stock market, just sort of stuck here, kind of parked. Junior stocks, the basket is the Russell 2000 versus the Dow. We've just been going sideways here for a while, eh? But the interesting thing about sideways consolidations is this could very, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen out of this Fed meeting. Maybe they announce quantitative 67. And more man. I mean, as it stands right now, I sort of look at this kind of market and just see a range here. So if we start busting out to new highs, then that'll tell me that junior market's ready to start rocking and rolling again. But for the time being, into the Fed meeting, probably best that we just sort of, cool our jets. Wow, the market's moving. And, of course, what a surprise. Blockchain stocks. I think I showed you we banged out another double here today. So, yeah, nothing to complain about here. Feeling no pain. And, again, this is the kind of thing where I could probably be long this stock forever. Where every time it doubles, I'll just keep selling half of whatever I got left. Half of whatever I got left. Half of whatever I got left. Stock might go to $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 a share, and I will always still have a little bit on the books. But now I'm in a free position. In fact, actually, this is my second sell half on a double, so I've officially got 200% return booked in the bank, and I still have free stock. So I don't know where the hell this thing's going to go, but let's just keep your eyes peeled. As for the corn, I'm feeling like we've run into a bit of a traffic area up here. Thank heavens. I mean, that face rip move wasn't going to go on indefinitely. So not only if we want boom boom off of that high, and that's interesting how we just stopped right in there. Also too, and this is a shout out to a gentleman by the name of Jonathan. I doubt he watches these anymore, but he actually sent me this study I guess about 6-8 months ago, and just sort of said, well, Brian, this is what I'm kind of looking for in price action, and gee whiz, I think he's going to get that level. And lo and behold, look what's floating out there, 11,578. So I don't know whether we've hit the top. Could it be anywhere in and around here? Sure, absolutely. And the same thing I've said repeatedly to the public is I certainly don't think it's in your best interest to chase. And if you want to invest, this is exactly what I would say to any little old lady who came and asked me. I would say, whatever the high is, draw your reload zones and get in there shopping when we pull back into reload zones. So, think I remember a week or so ago that reload zone was sitting here, about 5,700 up to 6,745. That hasn't changed a hell of a lot. We're at 5,900. It's gone up 200 bucks, all the way up to 7,100. And gee whiz, what a coincidence! We said through this bottom, cost of production was right around $2,000-$3,000. So after the halvening, that goes to what? $4,000 to $6,000, $2,000 to $3,000, $4,000 to $6,000, and gee whiz, if the market comes in and bottoms somewhere in this $7,000 area, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. And you might, if you're lucky, get one of these big honking ugly red candle days where the public's freaking out. And if that kind of shit happens into that zone, I think I'd be very interested in stepping up and adding to my corn. So, that's sort of the market state right now. I don't believe that we have to head down here because I believe to a certain degree that people buy this cost of production idea and notion. I do definitely know, for instance, we never really did get any 51% attack through all of this, that kind of talk, because we were never really at a position where we were seriously below the cost of production. So, is Bitcoin cheap right here? No, not at all. Is it really expensive? Maybe not. I mean, keep in mind the old highs were like 20 G's. I'm kind of thinking through this whole cycle that we're probably going to do a big honkin' harmonic pattern. Bang, 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 bang. And that wants to take us up into like 78, well, let's call it 80% of the previous range. So that's like 16, 17 G's, somewhere in there. Perfectly realistic. So at 10,000, I'm not going to say Bitcoin is like nosebleed expensive, but I'm also going to say it's not cheap. Could you make money trading the corn through here? Absolutely. Find your 3 reasons to justify your actions, and if you had taken a long shot here, hopefully you paid yourself. And that's what these trades look like. So you can see we have a classic setup on the site called the LJ. And all it really is we want to see a trend line that was traded to 3 times, broken, and then a W come in on the other side of the trend line. So it's fairly straightforward. I didn't take this trade because, like I said before, I'm a cheap ass. So this isn't really cheap in my eyes, so I don't want to spend any money. Could I have taken that long trade setup? Sure, why not? Anybody could have. And 2-to-1s off of that very predictable LJ move, they just had their profit objective hit. Ding, 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 ding. Also, too, this is a bit more aggressive, but this is what I call a bot setup, where it's A, B, C, D, looking for a move up top here. Their entry is the 25 level. I often like to front run the bot. So I would have liked to have taken this trade off of this LJ setup here, respected the bot levels. So now move stop to break even was hit. Move stop to trailing is 11.411, and we hit 11.417. So now the botters actually will start hunting market structure, and if we start melting back down, they should walk away and just book the profits and be done. And that's really how I see the market right at the moment. And FYI, if we start showing signs of failure here, more than happy to go buy some December puts. More than happy and actually quite interested, to be perfectly honest with you. So that's sort of the market state right at the moment with regard to the corn. The only other thing to sort of add to the equation, what's the altcoins? Remember we talked about this on the weekend, good old Foggenbaum. Maybe a trap. Yep, it was a trap. Still really haven't broken down in earnest, but as long as all this bearish divergence is still active and working, can't touch this with a 10-foot pole. I definitely now feel very comfortable. If somebody had come to me and said, well, if I get an M up here, Brian, would you like the idea of shorting? Believe it or not, actually, with all of this still pointing down, if everything still looks toppy and we see the bulls start to fall asleep, that wouldn't surprise me. We see a pullback here. I just don't know whether I really want to trade that. Man, it seems a bit aggressive. I might, you know what I might probably do is if this kind of failure does start to develop, I'm going to go take a look at the December puts here as well. And maybe do it through an option. So that way it's not a high anxiety trade. So, the only other thing that I would say here is, and I kind of mentioned it at the start of this conversation, is a lot of these coins, if you are interested in the story, through this big pop-up in Bitcoin, a lot of coins like this, Ambrosia, for example, the pullback brought the market back down into buying windows. Maybe look at your coin versus USD. Has it held those lows? And if you do see that the pullback did nothing more than just bring your idea back down into the bottom, well, maybe it's what we call a reload opportunity. I could definitely see it here. Anybody who bought this, sold half on a double. I don't know whether, actually, yep, that would have happened. So now you go and you add a car on the test of these reloads. Now you have 2 cars working. So I can definitely see it there. I mean, it's trader's life, caveat emptor. You never know. Nothing's guaranteed in this business. Rinse and repeat. Don't take no wooden nickels. And, of course, remember what your number one job as a trader is. All right, everybody, have yourselves a great day. I hope that was of some benefit to you. All the best, and bye for now.